Hello to all of you. I'm Irina Bond and I am a founder of Medi-Gyn Center, a hormone balancing center. Today we have a very interesting topic. As always, all our topics are quite interesting, but today we have a little bit different topic, and this is about more functional medicine tests. And the test that we are going to discuss today with Dr. Nira Sarlak is the Dutch tests. Quite complicated tests talking about hormone health. As you know, a lot of us are struggling with losing weight, getting some quality time, reducing our cortisol, making sure that we are stress-free and perhaps sleeping better. And what could that be? Majority of the times our hormones are playing with us, and not exactly for us, but against us. So today we are going to discuss exactly that and how can we really identify what's going on in our body, truly identify at the root cause of the whole condition. So Dr. Nira Sarlak, welcome. Very nice to see you.
Thank you so much, Irina, for having me. Pleasure.
So, Dr. Nira, what does it mean, Dutch test? What is Dutch test?
So that's an interesting question. First of all, I always look to any functional medicine test or any test when, we feel that, things are off. We are not feeling the same. It's either the energy is not the same, we are not sleeping well, no matter what how much, exercise we're doing, we're still not losing weight. So that's the thing that, I always like to look to see what are the things that we can do. If all the lifestyle or diets that, we are addressing and stress reduction methods are not working, I always, ask my clients to take a look to some specific tests, especially something like a Dutch test, besides just a conventional test.
What does it mean? What does it stand for, actually, the Dutch test?
Okay, Dutch stands for dried urine test for comprehensive hormones. And it's an at-home, very comprehensive test that we can do. It doesn't need you to go to the lab, get any needles done. And it basically checks your hormones and neurotransmitters, your cortisol level, everything throughout 24 hours.
As well as cortisol level, right?
Yes, yeah. So the cortisol level, so it basically checks 21 metabolites, 7 progesterone, 7 estrogens, and 7 testosterone, plus the cortisol and also melatonin and also some of the other biomarkers, which we call it organic acid testing, OAT. So the organic acid testing is included in all the Dutch tests, and that includes nutrient deficiencies, detox pathways, liver health. So they're all included in the organic acid test as well, which is coming with the Dutch test.
Yes.
So that's what it is, a very comprehensive test.
So as a natural practitioner, as a Dutch specialist, as a holistic specialist, you use the Dutch test quite a lot.
Yes.
How many of them are there?
So there are different forms of Dutch test. The two most common ones that I like to use in our practice at Medi-Gyn is Dutch Complete and Dutch Plus. So Dutch Complete, it tests for the panels for sex hormones, for adrenal hormones, melatonin, and cortisol level, plus the organic acid testing, which really tests for the nutrient deficiencies and liver detox pathways. Dutch Plus has everything which offers in the Dutch Complete, but it has that extra saliva test, which is called cortisol. It's called CAR. So that stands for cortisol awakening response.
Yes.
So it basically tests your cortisol level the moment you wake up in the morning and throughout the day, because we want to make sure that the cortisol and melatonin, especially together, they have a beautiful balance. We need to have a very balanced cortisol to wake up in the morning, but throughout the day it should go down and reduce so that the melatonin can be produced. So they're basically complementing each other. And if we see that somebody needs more also a comprehensive cortisol panel, then we recommend the Dutch Plus.
So the difference is actually in cortisol panel that we are checking in Dutch Plus, right?
Absolutely, yes, yeah. So the Dutch Plus has that extra cortisol included, cortisol saliva test.
So you would recommend the Dutch Plus for ladies or gentlemen who are actually going through certain conditions like stress-related, perhaps burnouts,
Yes.
perhaps any other kind of stress-related conditions.
Yes, anybody which shows the sign of adrenal fatigue, poor sleep, stress, anxiety is the time that, we think that it's really good to check their cortisol level.
Yes. So who is the test for? Of course, for people who would like to check cortisol, as we mentioned, but what are the actually relevant, perhaps, patients that could use that test?
I would recommend that whoever has any symptoms to be able to check their hormones. So what are the symptoms? The symptoms could be hormonal imbalances, such as painful periods, tender breast, moodiness, weeping before, like having your cycles, or, if you hate your husband, just once a week in a month, so that's the time that, to check for the hormone. And also if there is any family history of any like breast cancer or ovarian cancer, that's a really good thing to check for the Dutch test. And if you want to see that, if you want to add the extra cortisol testing in it as well, so that would be if somebody has any signs of burnout or crash in afternoon between 1 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's a typical symptoms of adrenal insufficiency. So
Yes.
again, I would suggest that, it would be really good if you have any of these symptoms.
As you know, Medi-Gyn is a hormone balancing center, and we offer our protocols to a lot of ladies in perimenopause, menopause. A lot of our ladies are nowadays on bioidentical hormone protocols.
Yeah.
So what would you suggest to those ladies who are already on hormone therapy protocols for quite a while, actually?
So actually, Dutch test could be really helpful for women who are already on bioidentical hormone therapy, because, it can give that extra layer to find out what we can personalize for them. If it's only the blood work, which is actually just a snapshot of what is the free-floating hormone in the body. So that's what the blood work shows. But with the Dutch test, we can just really see what are the pathways and how they are clearing from the body and how they are metabolizing in the body. So because of that, and because they are already in the hormone replacement therapy, we can make it more personalized and more effective, rather than just looking to the blood work. So it's just adds this extra layer of, more effectiveness for the therapy. Yeah.
And I'm glad that you mentioned about blood works, because a lot of ladies, in our case, ladies, majority of the times, they think that they do the blood work and everything is hunky-dory and they know it all. But it's not exactly the case, right?
Absolutely. I do agree. I think that blood work is just a snapshot of that specific moment. And it's very interesting. When was the last time that you guys did a blood work and they ask you which part of your cycle you are when you are doing it?
Yes.
So because, it's very important during those 4 weeks of the cycle, which day, we can do the hormone test. So that's the good thing about the Dutch test, that it's really not that snapshot, but it's like for 24 hours that, how our hormones is doing. And, because it is based on the urine, so it's also the accumulation over time. So that could be make it more comprehensive, but I still like to combine it together. So for all women,
of course,
we do the blood work and, add this extra layer for the Dutch test, which can give us more information beside also, of course, the hormone.
Yes.
Yeah.
So ladies, especially those ones who are on hormone therapy, the Dutch test is kind of a must now and then. You don't have to do it every month, of course, but at least once a year, it's a good idea to do, to check your metabolites, because the Dutch test, it's actually like a full movie you are seeing in front of you, right?
I do agree. Yes, yeah. It's like a airplane control panel that once we see it comes with all the like a charts and a pie chart that it really shows that not only what is producing in the body, but what we are detoxing in the body and how we are metabolizing all of those hormones in the body and how we clear them from the body. So it's really complete picture of what is going on.
Yes, exactly. We are coming to the next question. What does it measure, actually, the Dutch test?
So the Dutch test, beside the sex hormones and, the adrenal hormones and, the organic acid testing, what it measures is also the detox pathways. So when it comes to the liver, we know that liver has 3 different phases, phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 detox pathways. So we can just see that how a person's detox pathways is working. Is that blocked? Are they constipated? If they're constipated, it means that all that extra estrogen estrogen is just basically bottling up and are not releasing out of the body. So it's extremely important to just have a full clinical picture of person's history and also look to the symptoms to see that. And with this combination of these tests, then we can see, okay, what is going on? Are you a good, was that a candidate for like releasing all of those extra, hormones from the body through, urine or stool or sweat, or, it's just bottling up and staying in the body and recycling, which is not a very efficient way.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times in our practice, with our ladies, with our patients, we worry about how we can increase that estrogen.
Yes.
But that's only one part of it. We've got to look at the fact that how that estrogen, which gets into your body, being metabolized, right?
Absolutely.
And that part actually not many patients know about. So tell us a little bit more about that side of estrogen and how it should metabolize and what happens when it doesn't metabolize actually.
Okay, so that's the most important question I think we can answer during this podcast interview. So it's about estrogen metabolism. So estrogen basically has 3 different metabolite pathways. We call it 2-OH, 4-OH, and 16-OH pathways. The 2-OH is the most effective and safer pathways that we want most of our ladies to go through, that their estrogen goes through that pathways. And about 70% of the estrogen in our body, if you have a healthy pathways and metabolism, it should be about 70% through the 2-OH. The 4-OH is a little bit of a riskier one, but that we want just only a little bit, maybe about 10 to 15% to go through the 4-OH because, it can cause like a DNA damage to different tissues of the body. And the last one, which is the 16-OH, that's when we see basically, if that is a little bit on the higher side, we always see a little bit like a carcinogenic substances. We see things like fibrocystic breast or like fibroids in the ovaries. So that basically, if the 16-OH is too high, there's a lot of risk for the tumor formation in the body. So, and that's one of the things that is very important to detect early on, to just find out that what is the pathway. So how does that estrogens is basically metabolizing in the body. And, is which pathways? Are we more into the 16-OH and 4-OH, or are we more toward the 2-OH, which is actually the more specific ones and the safer one, actually?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what if, for example, estrogen is not being metabolized very well in the body? What are the symptoms of that estrogen? Because then we kind of face another condition, right?
Exactly.
And you will tell me what condition it is.
Yeah. So when we have any kinds of estrogen, we call it imbalances in the body, it's called estrogen dominance. So estrogen dominance doesn't mean that we have too much estrogen in our body. It means that there's some kind of imbalances. It's either there's an imbalance in the pathway, just as I mentioned, is 4-OH or 16-OH are a little bit on the higher side, or there is not enough, there's imbalance between progesterone and estrogen in the body. So that's also really important for each of us, depending on the age and our history, that's how much estrogen we have and how much progesterone we have. So it's all about the imbalances. And that condition basically is called estrogen dominance. So again, estrogen dominance, it doesn't mean it's too much, it doesn't mean it's too little, it just means that there's not enough balance in the body.
Yes, very interesting. So it's so important to kind of try to feel your body as well as, of course, all the blood test is great, the Dutch test is great. But ladies, it's very important to try and feel your body, be connected to yourself. This is one of the things that we can do it ourselves in the comfort of our home, perhaps with the help of some holistic practices, some holistic therapies, that finally, perhaps towards our 50s, we are more connected to ourselves and we can feel our body, how it reacts to whether it's hormone therapy, whether it's any other substances or practices.
So just I wanted to mention, Irina, about the symptoms of estrogen dominance. So because you asked that question. So if we have any symptoms that it would be related to breast tenderness, mood swings, anxiety, poor sleep, and also it could be things like, again, as I mentioned, a fibrocystic breast or like cyst, any cyst, PCOS, even things like fibromyalgia, which is actually an autoimmune disease, so they all could be related to two imbalance of the estrogen in the body. So that's something that we definitely need to address.
Yes, which is estrogen dominance, right?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
So not enough estrogen is not that great, but too much estrogen is also not that great. So let's be mindful, of our symptoms, actually, how body reacts to the whole thing. So interestingly, you mentioned carcinogenic substances or cells, right? Can we actually detect, and to add, because we have a breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yeah.
So it's very important to talk a little bit about that aspect of hormone therapy, perhaps, which is very often that question comes up, but also about the Dutch test and whether it addresses that side of the story.
Yeah, so definitely Dutch test is not like a cancer diagnostic test that, they're in the standard medicine or even in, like a functional medicine, we cannot use it as a diagnostic tool, but it can give us a good picture. Of what is going on with the body. And we always, in holistic care, we always look to the whole picture. So this is a piece of the puzzle. The other piece could be, we can look to the toxicity. The other piece, we can look to the stress level of the person and also the symptom tracking and basically clinical observation that what we see. If that person has a very high stressful job, if they're not sleeping well, if they have a lot of emotional trauma from childhood, or if they have a lot of exposure to things like electromagnetic radiation. Ladies, never put, the phones in your bra or, next to, your bed when you're sleeping. So these are the things that is very interesting. They could be really linked to a lot of carcinogenic substances in the body as well. So, yes, so we definitely think that this could be a good, piece of the puzzle that we can use as a tool that can help us to just find out what is going on with the person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And by identifying those pathways and where the markers are, we can then address it in time, in time, right?
Yes,
That's the whole reason that we are doing the Dutch test, to identify where you are with all the markers that are perhaps could point us out into the right direction. And then how do we address it, Dr. Nira? What can we do? What the life hacks that we have to address those potential conditions?
Exactly. So I actually call these types of tests like a preventive test, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So it's all about prevention, because we don't want that all the last minute, everything is broken and we have a specific diagnosis, then we're going to look to all the solutions, right?
Yes.
So like a test like this, or, like other tests that we do at Medi-Gyn, with the toxicity test, we can do the GI map test. There are just so many tests that we can do depending on a person, because this is really customized care that, we are offering for our patients. So it's not a cookie cutter approach for everybody.
Yes.
But because of this a test like a Dutch test, especially the Dutch Plus, I really like it because it gives us also that extra cortisol metabolized and the cortisol level throughout the day as well. So we can really see what is going on in a person's life. As soon as sometimes I just don't even need to know anything of the history of a person, but I see just a test that, this person is really stressed. This person is not sleeping well. If the cortisol is too high in the evening and, the melatonin is just basically is not in a good balance, so that you just can see that person is not sleeping well. So that's just really important to make sure that, we address all of these things. But when it comes to the holistic care, again, it's just the Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October, and we always have a lot of tools that, we can just look at in the preventive care. Number one that, is my top, priority that I always address, is just the lifestyle. The lifestyle and the diet and nutrition. So that's the basic things that everybody has to be aware of it. Eating nutrient-dense diet, things like cruciferous vegetables are amazing. So ladies, eat your broccoli and cauliflower and Brussels sprouts.
But talking about those vegetables, those type of vegetables, they actually lower your estrogen, natural estrogen. Is that so?
Yes. Yeah. So they actually balance it. It's not about it's just they're just balancing it. So I love, to add them, eating and also, things like sauerkraut, because it's also great for our gut. So we just do those things, so that would be really the part that, I really like to add. And also, because our liver is really related to our hormone production. So the liver is just basically help us to produce hormone, help us to metabolize the hormone. So what are my favorite liver herbs, like milk thistle and dandelion. So those are the herbs that I really like. So anything which is bitter is amazing for our liver health. So,
and weight loss as well, by the way.
Absolutely. So so these are the things that we can add, as an extra things, for just extra support for our liver and hormone when it comes to food and diet. And again, as much as possible, keeping our blood sugar balance is extremely important. Avoiding processed sugar, alcohol is a big thing, ladies. So, all those cocktails, it's just, it can
Sounds
really,
like a good idea at the time, but not that great for our liver. Right?
Absolutely, yeah. So and also another thing is very important is hydration. So, we need to make sure that, we are you have enough hydration, a really good high quality water. If we can even structure our water, so that would be another amazing thing, mineralizing our water, because most of us these days are not deficient in vitamins, but we are deficient in minerals.
Yes.
Things like iodine, that's just extremely important, selenium. So these are the things which is also very good for our thyroid health. And our thyroid health is really related and linked to our adrenal health as well. So I'm just really always emphasizing, mineral, over the vitamins, because vitamins, we can get it a lot, through our food, but the minerals is the one because our soil is depleted.
Yes, absolutely. And interestingly, also for liver work and for bowel movements work and for the metabolism of hormones, the bowel movements are very important, right?
Absolutely.
So we need to make sure, ladies, that we address that point of bowel movements and making sure that at least once per day we, of course, pass our stool so that everything is happening as it should and naturally in the body.
Yeah, and I do agree with you that, Irina, that's the most important thing that we need to address, because basically it's like filling up a garbage, So we need to have the elimination pathways open, and also eating a lot of fiber-rich food. So that's why vegetables and, fruits are extremely important, and hydration. So those are like the most important thing to address, and also moving our lymph. So the lymph flow is another
will help also
exactly. So movement, anything that it can help us, to move the lymphs, to move the body, walking, exercising. There are absolutely would be like a very good preventive care to have it. So those are all part of our diet and lifestyle, which most of us, these days, we are just covering it up, right?
Yes, we are kind of covering it up. Sometimes we are aware, sometimes we are aware in general sense, not specifically to hormones or to hormone metabolites.
Yep.
So we've spoken about the kind of negative hormone metabolism. What does a positive and nice kind of healthy hormone metabolism look like?
So if our hormones are all in balance, so first of all, we are in very good mood. So I think that's just one of the most important
things. Just like us.
Yeah, exactly. We're kind of in a really good mood, because, everything is really related to our mood. If our progesterone is really high, our mood is very good. And also we can have a beautiful, healthy skin, and also the hair and nails. So they're all connected together, right? And also another interesting thing for all women, we all want to, be in shape. So the weight loss is another super important thing. If the hormones are out of balance, our metabolism slows down. That's why most of us, in our 40s and 50s, no matter how much exercise we are doing, and if we are still, doing lots of fasting, but, we still cannot get back to the shape, that we were when we were in our 20s and 30s. So the weight is extremely important as well, that, we need to just address that, once our hormones changes and we go to perimenopause or menopause, how we can support the body so that we still can keep, that metabolism. Maybe a little bit, it's not going to be as perfect as before, but, it's always really possible that, to check everything and, make sure that, we are just, in a good mood, in a good shape, in a good energy. And also energy is another big thing, because, most of us, just, become like tired, and, we just blame it on age. You said, I'm getting older. I'm not a spring chicken anymore.
Yes, that's normal. But actually, it's not really normal, right?
No, it's not normal. So you should not blame the age, for that. So if everybody, all our neighbors and sisters are going through the same thing, and we just feel like, everybody else is going through the same thing, and, it's just, I'm getting old. But we can still get old, beautifully and gracefully,
Absolutely. And that's what our work, what we do is all about, really. Because by identifying where your hormones are, by supplementing that natural buffer that you still have, ladies, a lot of you in perimenopause, in menopause, by lifting those hormones a little bit up and a little bit at the level that it should be, perhaps even when you are 40s and 50s and 60s, then you address all the issues that could actually cost your mood, cost your kind of a nice looking body, but also cost your pocket as well.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
If you put on weight, you cannot lose that weight that easily, then all those clothes, unfortunately, will have to go out of the window, right?
Yes.
So we might as well address it now and live happily ever after.
Exactly.
So
and I would like also to add on, Irina, also our relationship is also, it can be, if we are in a good mood, we can be really great mothers, we can be really good spouses for our, for our family. So we could have like, it all really affects everybody, for our colleagues, for whoever we are, just like in our daily life. It can be like, we can be our true self rather than really suffering with stress and anxiety and like putting too much on ourselves.
Yes.
So that's also really important for our relationship with
Absolutely.
others. Yeah.
And it's good that you mentioned, because this month, as we know, it's breast cancer awareness month, but it's also kind of about us ladies, right? It's months about us. So it's very important to be in a good health and also mindful about our relationships. And the higher level of divorces, apparently, it happens when a woman is going through menopause.
Yes.
We know that for fact, because the study's been done, the survey's been done, and the statistics, that's what statistics tells us. So it's hormone therapy, not just for physical, but definitely for emotional. And the Dutch test actually does address our neurotransmitters as well, right?
Yes. It's, the things that, it can be really helpful would be our dopamine, for example, our serotonin levels. So dopamine is our motivation. Without dopamine, we cannot get up in the morning and go. So it's our motivation, it's our masculine energy.
Yes.
And, serotonin is our happy hormone, is our connection hormone. So like if, those hormones going down, of course, you don't want to be connected with our partners. Of course, the relationships can suffer. So that's extremely important. I'm full supporting, the psycho-emotional health part of the hormone therapy as well.
Yes, and it's also, remember to address kind of that not hormones don't work in separation. They work to work together in a kind of coherent orchestra, producing that symphony. And if your dopamine, if your neurotransmitters not working well, so most likely other hormones are not working well either.
Yes. Yeah.
So that is why it's a good idea to kind of do the Dutch test, see where you are, and make sure that everything is fine now and then. It's very easy to do, very easy to check, and very easy to purchase too from our shop online.
Yes, yeah. And also I really like that it's very convenient at-home test, so it just takes one day. And maybe I just also want to mention that when is the best time actually to do the Dutch test?
Yes, very good point.
For cycling women, it's the best time that, they're recommending is between day 19 to 21 of the cycle. If the cycle is irregular, we still can do it, but, we need to just interpret it a little bit different. For women who are on birth control pills, they actually do not recommend to the Dutch test because that's not the natural rhythm. Yeah. So the recommendation is that at least to be 3 months off the pill, so that, the body goes back to normal and the natural rhythm, then we can just do the Dutch test. Men can do it, of course, because they also have, estrogen and progesterone, and of course, the testosterone level is important, plus the cortisol. Most men, they're pushing themselves too much, so we really like to see what is their cortisol levels and also the nutrient deficiency and the detox pathways as well. And of course, related to our Medi-Gyn patients is, the women who are on the bioidentical hormone therapy. So that's an amazing extra add-on test to just do it beside the blood work to maybe, as you said, once a year or every 6 months to just see that, where is this for, how we are metabolizing everything and how we are clearing out, all of those extra things which is in our body, the detox pathways and everything, if they're open or not. So,
yes, absolutely. So that our health is optimized, really.
Yes, yeah. So this is more about optimized health rather than just and look into the root cause. So we're really looking to preventive root cause medicine rather than just, patching it with just some painkillers and just just say, okay, we are just get going with our life. So this is a long-term holistic care that we are offering.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So once we've done the Dutch test, we looked into all of this, everything is hunky-dory. What is next then?
Okay, next is enjoying life. I would say just enjoy life, and like that's I think one of the most important things, and also taking care of our health and also consistency. So this is something that we really need to know, that this is not just like a 2 months or 3 months program that we just keep going with it, and after that again just get off the wagon. So we really want to have a long-term holistic plan, which would be actually more like a lifestyle rather than just a quick fix. And also something like a Dutch test or any other functional medicine test, I would say that they are not like a diagnostic tools, but they're looking to the terrain. They're just shedding light on the terrain to see that what is going on, what is out of balance, and by bringing the balance to the body and optimizing it, we can just help all of our organs and organ system to function better.
Absolutely. And I would like to mention a little bit about inflammation, because inflammation these days, any days, but especially nowadays, we talk about it more and more. Inflammation is inflammaging.
Yes.
The higher inflammation, ladies, in your body, the quicker your organs, all the organs age, and the quicker we see those signs of aging externally as well. So by optimizing our hormones, but making sure that the metabolism of those hormones are going well in our body, then we know that our inflammation is actually also being addressed and being balanced, right?
Yes, I do agree. And adding things like antioxidants, things like fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin E and A are extremely good, to add on, to our supplement regimen. Yes, I do agree with you. And of course, there are lots of herbal remedies, things like turmeric and ginger. So these are the things which can be really helpful also to bring down the inflammation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Nira, very nice to have you. Such a productive discussion we've had so far.
Thank you so much.
And yes, ladies, for better aging, for gracefully aging or well aging, as we call it, I think bioidentical hormones is the way to go, right, Dr. Nira?
Yes, I do agree. That and it's also, it might not work for everybody, but I think it's really good point that, we just work with a functional health practitioner to really just see what is going on with the person. But in this day and age that, it feels like that it can be something very helpful for a majority of women.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we can only know whether you are ready and whether you are actually the bioidentical hormone therapy applicable for you is by testing, by doing tests, either blood test or the Dutch test, which can easily be purchased via Medi-Gyn.com. So thank you so much, Dr. Nira, once again, and we hope to speak to you soon.
Thank you, Irina, for having me. Pleasure.
And thank you so much, everybody, listening to this podcast and supporting us throughout whatever we are offering. And yes, I will see you soon. Bye-bye for now.